just common sense.
You're not at all worried that the electric car thing is to get us all on the grid and then they're going to turn the grid off?
In much the same way that when you build a real estate project, you need sort of an anchor tenant, right? You build a strip mall, you need a grocery store or a TJ Maxx or something. In the case of small scale grid projects, you're going to see them embrace Bitcoin mining as exactly that, the anchor tenant. Until now, governments were the ones who bought all the nuclear reactors, right? If they even bothered, but it was some form of municipal whatever. I think you're going to get a private sector boom in small modular nuclear reactors, and the Bitcoin mining aspect is going to sort of incentivize that. So the idea of Degen Island and Bitcoin citadels is very realistic for that reason, because you're going to get an energy decentralization that will actually make financial sense. The problem with all the green energy tech right now is it doesn't make financial sense. This is going to take away it'll take away the monopoly in buyer, right? So right now, like I said, it's only been cities and states and things like that, and they're not competent. They're not going to be able to figure this out. They've been sucky at it to begin with. So look what they did to Germany. I mean, this is a complete shithole now, and it's not going to get better until they become more financially literate and they ignore what Greta has to say about energy. So Degen Island is going to have a mine in the middle of it that'll mine Bitcoin and help subsidize or at least financialize the price of the decentralized grid. So I predict you're going to have way more decentralization because you're going to have a financial incentive to decentralize the grid, and it'll be supplementary to what's going on in the main grid, because you're already seeing in Texas. In Texas, they're already doing the feed-in system. So you see Riot, for example, this past summer made, I don't know, something like 24. I know Beto O'Rourke was crying about it, saying it was a subsidy. What it is they have a choice to either run the Bitcoin mines at the price electricity's at, but sometimes it gets expensive and they have a sell back rate. And so they can sell the energy back to the grid in times of need and in times when it's there. And what that turns into is a choice for how they spend their energy, which is a very normal circumstance. The Bitcoin miners want to live in that. That's the whole load balancing argument, that they can load balance with their appetite for energy. And for those reasons, yeah, I'm not worried about a decentralized grid at all, a centralized grid at all. Zero. I have zero worries.
Well, that's wonderful news. So I can get that hybrid I've been looking at.
And the Toyota ones look pretty reasonable too, the new ones. Yeah, I've seen them. And the prices are way down, so good for them.
Is nuclear your champion or your favorite new source of energy that we should really invest in?
It's either nuclear or batteries, right? I don't disagree with Elon Musk's assessment that if you created better battery tech, we could get there. I agree with that. I've never really heard a good criticism of nuclear energy other than RFK's one, which is you can't get it insured. But I believe that was the old era of reactors. I think the small modular nuclear ones are and they've engineered out the risk. So yeah, I think the sleeper business that I see being a big thing is more or less the Degen Island argument. I saw Trump, if you remember, early in this campaign, came out with his Freedom City competition. So he's gonna have 10 new cities built in America. Elon Musk has built his thing. You got that line in Saudi Arabia. So I think there is going to be a huge business. Frankly, I think that's going to be the economy, building new cities. I don't have any appetite to fix New York. Do you? I don't want to go back there, right? So I think you're going to be building new things. They got the Bitcoin city in El Salvador. Nothing's being done on that. I'm not under any illusion, even that the line in Saudi Arabia is going to work. Not all of these are the right thing and the right idea, right? But you saw Kanye West, for example, experimenting with house design. This is an untapped field, and it's going to be big. And I think the small modular nuclear reactors make it that much easier to imagine. I can imagine, for example, most of, there's a debate right now for water in the United States between Arizona and California. A lot of people wondering what's going to happen. I predict the entire west coast of the United States are going to have a ton of nuclear reactors that will be there for just desalination. And if you know how desalination works, I mean, it couldn't be more simple. It's literally just pump water through a filter. The problem is you need the energy to pump it. But if you pumped it from the ocean up the mountains and then let it fall down into the valley in Arizona, well, it wouldn't be that complicated, right? It would be totally pure by the time it got there. And you'd have had the salt build up just from the elevation of going through the mountains in a simple tube, or a simple hose or pipe or whatever. So you're going to see terraformation and engineering projects and deserts turning into green. I mean, that's basically the whole market for the future is basically engineering land, whether it's climate change or whatever that forces you to change it, right? Like, I'm not a believer in the catastrophic effects of climate change at all, but we can't deny there's changes in different places. I'm not afraid of it at all. I'm just saying it's a dynamic system and things change, right? So that's fine. Tell the people in Amsterdam, right? They had to manipulate their environment because it changed, and they're doing great. Right. So I think the real business here is manipulating environments so that we all keep doing great. And even for example, the reason why there's a hurricane hitting the east coast of North America like tomorrow, right? Well, hurricanes really come from the fact that the Sahara Desert is there, right? That's where it starts. It starts with the hot air coming off the desert. It hits the Atlantic. It ends up spinning down into the ocean, and then it hits the warm ocean currents and shoots back up towards America. Well, if you just take away the desert in Africa, you actually solve. There's no more hurricanes in America. They're gone. We'll just be done with them. We'll have 0 hurricanes in America if we just go to Africa and terraform the desert where nobody lives and there's no actual government and there's no people. All right? So it's not going to be that hard, right? You're going to have maybe Degen Island is going to be, in Africa, in some place that used to be the desert. So that's where I see it. It's just abundant energy all the time. And the only way anyone's going to be able to pay for this is the really unique finance tool that Bitcoin is.